OPPO's entry-level A series has gotten a bit of a mid-range facelift with the new OPPO A9 2020. It's carrying a total of 5 cameras, a Snapdragon 665 chipset, 8GB of RAM, and a huge 5000 mAh battery. With these specs and a price of 15,990 pesos, it's looking to take the Vivo S1 head-on. So let's see what it's got. Design-wise, the A9 2020 has that typical glass back and gradient colors, which the brand says are inspired by nature. The unit we have here is the space purple color, and it creates an S-shaped reflection when the light hits it. It actually reminds us of the OPPO R17 Pro, so it's nice to see the upper mid-range design trickle down to the A series. You'll also notice some curved sides, so it's easier to grip. However, it might take some getting used to if you're not used to large phones, especially being this one comes in at 6.5 inches, and because of the big battery, it has a quite thick profile. Also found here at the back are the fingerprint scanner stacked vertically with its 4 rear cameras along with the LED flash. On the right side is the power button, while on the left are the volume rocker and card tray for 2 nano-sized SIM cards and a microSD card up to 256GB. The buttons are made of plastic and are attached to the metal frame. They're firm, clicky, and they're well positioned near the middle of the frame so they're easier to reach. At the bottom, we have the headphone jack, primary microphone, USB Type-C port, and a loudspeaker. Overall, the A9 2020 can be a little bit hefty for your taste, but it feels solid at the same time premium thanks to that more modern design. Moving on to the display, we get a 6.5-inch IPS screen with a resolution of 1600 by 720 and a screen-to-body ratio of 89%. The water drop notch gives room for the front camera and speakerphone. The bezels around the screen are quite thick, especially at the chin area, and while we do appreciate the screen real estate, it's quite a bummer that resolution is only at 720p. Nonetheless, this works just fine for day-to-day use. We still get good colors, sharp enough details for reading, and great brightness under direct sunlight. You can also adjust the screen temperature in the settings to whatever your eyes prefer. The front panel also has Gorilla Glass 3 protection plus a pre-installed screen protector, which is great. As for audio, sound produced can get loud enough with some depth for a medium-sized room thanks to its Dolby Atmos support, but of course expect it to lack some bass and some clarity in the highs, so if you want a better audio experience, do take advantage of the headphone jack. For hardware, the A9 2020 is sporting a Snapdragon 665 chipset with an Adreno 610 GPU, 8GB of RAM, and 128GB of internal storage. It's a pretty good offering for a mid-range smartphone, plus it's got Game Boost 2.0 for you gamers out there. We get a pretty smooth gaming experience without much frame drops, even at the highest settings available, and as for everyday use, the A9 2020 can definitely handle whatever you throw at it, from photography to multitasking to social media to video streaming and whatever it might be. Taking a look at these benchmark scores, they're not the best you can get in this price range, but still indicate a good experience. For software, the A9 2020 runs Android 9 Pie skinned with ColorOS 6.0.1, and we find it highly customizable and packs a lot of OPPO's native apps, which you may or may not find a little bit annoying. But nonetheless, if you've been an OPPO user before, and even if you're new, ColorOS is actually pretty intuitive and user-friendly. There's an app drawer option in the settings, and you can easily adjust the navigation buttons the way you want them to be arranged. Quickly on security, you can unlock the phone via the fingerprint scanner at the back, as well as face unlock. Both work well, they're both pretty snappy, but you can definitely rely on the fingerprint scanner more if you want a more secure and fast experience. Now, keeping this big phone running is an equally big 5000 mAh battery with reverse charging, which is something you don't usually see in a mid-range smartphone, but it's a nice touch that can come in handy for charging your other devices or even charging your friends' devices. In the PC Mark battery test, we yield a total of 15 hours and 18 minutes, while in our video loop test, we got a total of 19 hours of playback. But for real-world usage, that huge battery plus the efficient chipset plus the low-res screen, I can assure you guys that the A9 2020 can last you more than a whole day of continuous use, even with casual gaming. It can even last you 2 days if you're not a heavy user. Moving to the cameras. As I've said earlier, you get a total of 5 cameras for the A9 2020. At the back, a 48MP main, 8MP ultra-wide, 2MP depth sensor, and 2MP monochrome lens. While in the notch area is a 16MP selfie shooter. Under good lighting conditions, photos come out sharp with accurate colors. Tip: focusing is the key for this one if you want to get the best exposure for your shots, because honestly it can be a hit or miss. It's also really nice we get an ultra-wide lens because you get a lot more flexibility when shooting. Also, with both depth and monochrome sensors at the back for additional information, portrait mode comes out great except when there's too much going on in the background. The blur effect can miss some spots, but with the right conditions, shots look good. For low light, it can get really grainy and washed out, especially for selfies. But on the bright side, we're actually impressed with OPPO's new night mode, as it does improve the quality of the shots in certain dark situations, with less noise at that. Selfies are good too. We get great details, colors, and skin tones, but it does again struggle under poor lighting conditions. And when it comes to videos, you can shoot up to 4K and switch from normal to ultra-wide to 5x zoom in a single video clip. What I like the most is the stabilization, which mind you is an important feature to have in this price range. The biggest downside here though is that video struggles to lock focus onto anything, so it ends up bouncing all over the place. Now, for 15,990 pesos, the OPPO A9 2020 offers a large display, reliable everyday performance with those internals, decent cameras, and a massive battery. Against the Vivo S1, I do feel that the A9 2020 offers a little bit more, including a Type-C port by the way, albeit for a higher price by around 1,000 pesos. But against the rest of the mid-range market, it's hard to put this phone towards the top of the list. The competition is tough, but on its own, if you're looking for a mid-range OPPO phone in particular, then I guess the A9 2020 won't disappoint you. Alright, so that wraps up our full review of the OPPO A9 2020. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content, hit the bell icon to know any future uploads, and be sure to visit YugaTech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. This has been Joey, and I'll see you guys the next one.